Hey everyone, how's it going? Matthew Kadish here, author of the Earthman Jack Space Saga, available over on Amazon.com. Please check it out when you get a chance if you're a fan of science fiction and good reads. But today we've got some super exciting news. Well, on the surface it's not very exciting, but the broader implications of it are quite exciting because this is a very interesting time to be covering the entertainment industry. And what I mean by that is that there's this little thing that's brewing and it's about to kick into high gear, and it's called the streaming wars. Yes. Basically, there's been a huge disruption in the entertainment industry thanks to services like Netflix and Amazon Prime. And the way that we're seeing content be delivered to the consumers is shifting. It used to be you had broadcast TV, and then cable came in and kind of disrupted things, and then cable was king for a long time. And now cable is slowly dying, and streaming platforms that deliver content through the internet directly to consumers are kind of rising to prominence. And what's happening is that all the big major movie and TV studios in Hollywood are transitioning over to their own streaming services, which means that they're kind of moving away from their cable deals and bringing their content directly to the consumer. It's called over-the-top services, OTT, which basically means that it goes over the top of all the existing services to go directly to the consumer. So there's no barrier between the content creator and the consumer. And this has been in the works for quite some time, but it's just now starting to kind of work its way into reality. And Netflix in particular is feeling the strain of these streaming wars before they've even begun, because in order to attract people to these new platforms, you need original content that people actually want to watch. And so a lot of these studios have been slowly letting their deals with Netflix and other platforms die off so they can get the rights back to their content and put it on their own streaming platform to attract users. And Netflix, basically was built off the back of licensed content. And now that it's losing all that content, it needs to start stepping up its original offerings and figuring out ways to license different content that's going to keep subscribers where they are and attract new subscribers. But one of the biggest competitors in the space is, of course, Disney. Now, Disney has gone on a big spending spree over the past couple years. They bought Star Wars. Then they went out and bought the Fox studio network, stuff like that. So 20th Century Fox, basically. And before that, they acquired Pixar, they acquired Marvel years back. So they've been kind of slowly building out this portfolio of acquisitions that has really kind of added to their bottom line in terms of their ability to license product and their ability to draw on content to create new movies and new franchises and all this good stuff. And Disney, for a long time, has been kind of gearing up to release their own over-the-top streaming network. And they've dubbed it Disney Plus, but in addition to Disney Plus, they also have Hulu. Part of the Fox merger was that Disney acquired the shares in Hulu that Fox owned to become a majority shareholder. And the only people who were left in the deal was, I believe, Comcast. And Comcast, which is one of the big cable networks out there, they own the NBC networks and Universal Studios. Comcast only had something like a 30 or 20% stake in Hulu after the Fox merger went through with Disney, and Disney basically offered them a lot of money to let them take over Hulu as well. And so Comcast sold out their stake in Hulu, giving it to Disney. So Disney had now two streaming platforms that in existence: Disney Plus, which has yet to be launched, and Hulu, which has been around for quite some time. It's never quite been able to compete with Netflix and Amazon Prime on their level, but it does have some good original offerings, and it's got an established subscriber base. And Disney's plan is basically to use Disney Plus to be the more family-friendly streaming platform, and then use Hulu to have some more of their adult fare. So we're going to be seeing a lot of the kind of edgier Fox properties kind of move to Hulu, and a lot of the more family-friendly Star Wars, Marvel, and Fox properties on Disney Plus. And that was kind of, expected of this. But news came out on August 6th that is a real game changer here. And I'm going to unpack this for you guys who maybe don't follow this stuff, but I'm kind of geeky. I like the inside baseball things. And there's a lot going on here that is kind of under the surface that, your average person is probably not picking up on. But for those of you who are unaware, Disney is basically going all in on their streaming services, and they're doing it in such a way that it's basically like a huge middle finger to all their other competitors in the entertainment industry. And it's absolutely beautiful how they're doing it. I don't know how successful it's going to be, but they're definitely making their competitors sweat. So for those of you who don't know, Warner Brothers was recently acquired by AT&T. And what happened was AT&T wanted content for all their mobile devices and things of that nature. So AT&T decided, you know what, let's buy a movie studio. And so they went and they acquired Warner Media, which is basically, it consists of HBO, Warner Brothers Studios, and Time Warner networks. And that, Time Warner, it's like TNT, TBS, CNN, all these TV networks that you guys are probably familiar with. But in addition to that, the Warner Brothers Studios, which owns like DC Comics and all this other stuff. And so AT&T, through a long and arduous process, because the government actually tried to stop them from acquiring Warner Media because of antitrust issues and things of that nature, they eventually got the merger to go through, and now AT&T owns the second biggest media conglomerate in the nation, second only to Disney. And it was rumored for a very long time that AT&T was going to basically create their own OTT streaming service to kind of synergize with all their devices and mobile customers and things of that nature. And Disney knew this for a couple years now. And so when they were kind of formulating their strategy, they took into account the competitors that they saw on the horizon. Things like, for instance, CBS has CBS All Access, but it looks like CBS is going to be merging back with Viacom, which will bring Paramount Studios under the CBS banner, giving them more content to feed into their streaming service. Because right now CBS is limited to the CBS library. All the stuff from Viacom is separate, so they can't necessarily use that on their streaming service. But once those two companies merge, if they do, all of a sudden they're going to have access to a ton more content to make them a bigger competitor. So Disney saw that on the horizon, they saw what AT&T was planning to do with their announced HBO Max streaming platform. And word on the street was that these other competing streaming platforms were going to be charging like around $15 a month, for their services. And so Disney, very wisely, when they announced Disney Plus, came out and said, hey, you can get Disney Plus for like $6 a month, $7 a month. Kind of the old Netflix pricing model when Netflix first launched, where, you were paying something like $8 a month or something like that. But Disney is a big enough company where they can do what's called a loss leader, which means that they offer something at a loss to them, which is of high value to the customers, in order to build the subscriber base. And then after a time, once they're established, once they have like a steady subscriber base, they can slowly increase that money and start making a profit off of it. But the purpose of a loss leader isn't just to attract people to the service by offering them extra value. The purpose of a loss leader is also to try and price out your competitors. And so knowing that Warner Brothers was eyeing like a $15, $16 a month price tag, and both Netflix and Amazon are like upwards of, I think, $12 or something like that a month, Disney said, hey, let's come in and cut them off at the knees. Let's offer this for like super cheap. People are going to be signing up in droves, and we want to put pressure on these other competitors to try to compete with us. And that's exactly what that announcement of like, $6.99 a month for Disney Plus did, because once AT&T and Warner Media saw that price tag, they were like, oh crap, how are we going to compete with that? Because I mean, HBO Now alone, like if you want to subscribe to HBO service, that in and of itself is something like $14-15 a month. And there's like a certain prestige to the HBO name. And so with all the stuff that Warner Media had planned, AT&T is already like amassing massive amounts of debt, not only for the acquisition of Warner Media, but also all the money that they plan on pumping into content to fill their streaming services. I think last thing I read, it was like $100 billion worth of debt that AT&T is going to take on just so they can have money to fund new content for Warner Brothers. So they need to be profitable pretty quick to start paying down that debt. And Disney kind of came in and put pressure on them to be like, well, if you want to compete against us, you're going to have to drop your prices, and you're going to have to basically suffer your profits, or you can try and be profitable ahead of time, and you're not going to be able to compete with us. We're going to kind of stake our claim, and you guys are never going to be the top dogs. So say what you will about Robert Iger, the CEO of Disney. Love him or hate him, you have to admit he is one smart guy, because not only was that undercutting the price tag for Disney Plus a brilliant move, but what they announced today is even more brilliant. So we are at the Verge right here, and it says, the headline is, Disney announces $12.99 bundle for Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus, on par or cheaper than competitors. Yes, Disney has come out and said, hey, you know what? We're going to bundle together all three of our streaming platforms for one low price. Now, keep in mind that the $12.99 bundle, it's twice as much as just getting Disney Plus by itself. But the value here is that you have the three pillars of entertainment. You have the family-friendly stuff, which is Disney Plus. You have the adult-oriented entertainment, which is Hulu. And then you have sports, which is ESPN. And that's like the holy trinity of the TV industry, basically, is because like those hit all the major audiences. And the fact that Disney is now able to offer a higher price to make them more profitable, but offer more value than all their other competitors can offer, is just a stroke of genius. And this is kind of something that the cablers, the cable companies have been doing for a long time, which is bundling together channels and offering them to the customers for an increased price. But Disney already owned Hulu. They already had ESPN Plus going. They're getting ready to launch Disney Plus, and they were like, you know what? Why don't we just offer all these as a package deal? And this is a big move on Disney's part, because no other cabler or no other streaming service out there is going to be able to compete with it, at least not for a while. Like this is a direct fire over the bow of Netflix, because Netflix is just Netflix. They don't have any other properties that they can offer to bundle together with their service. Same thing with Warner Media, is like, they're launching HBO Max, but they don't have anything they can bundle into it to increase the perceived value. The only company that can really kind of offer something beyond what Disney is offering with this package is Amazon, because with Amazon Prime, you get like other perks like free 2-day shipping. You get Twitch Prime included with that. Like there's all this stuff that Prime users get with their subscription that you can't get from another streaming service. So Amazon's really the only one that could probably potentially compete with a offer like this. But Disney's also going to be on Amazon's platform, where Amazon offers to subscribe to Disney through them. At least that's what this article will say. And so Amazon's kind of in bed with Disney on this thing. They're not really a direct competitor like someone like Netflix or Warner Media or CBS All Access is. So let's get into this. This is an article by Julia Alexander. And it says, Disney will offer a bundle package of its three streaming services, Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN, for $12.99 a month, starting on November 12th, the company announced today. The company previously hinted at a bundle for all three services, but Bob Iger made it official during the company's investor call today. At $12.99, the bundle is cheaper than or on par with competitive streaming services, including Netflix and Amazon Prime Video. It's also significantly cheaper than HBO Max's rumored streaming price of $16 to $17 a month. Hulu is currently available for $5.99 a month with ads, and ESPN Plus costs $4.99 a month. ESPN Plus is the Disney-owned streaming sports platform, which carries hundreds of Major League Baseball, National Hockey League, and Major League Soccer games, Grand Slam tennis, top-ranking boxing, PGA Tour golf, college sports, international rugby, cricket, and full library of ESPN films, including 30 for 30 and more. It's also now the streaming destination for UFC fights, which Disney no doubt hopes can make up for the lack of SportsCenter and other banner shows from the ESPN cable network. There are a few questions that did not get addressed in the call. Disney Plus, for example, will eventually launch in international markets. So that means that upon launch in November, Disney Plus is not going to be available internationally. It says here in the article, it's unclear if that will be the same for the bundle because of regional issues with content. Hulu, for example, is not available in Canada, but Disney wants to bring Hulu to international markets too. The big question is ESPN Plus, again, because of regional licensing issues, and that's with all the separate deals with, the different sporting things like Major League Baseball and hockey. They all have, very complicated licensing structures for, international territories. Iger told investors the company doesn't have anything to announce right now in terms of markets. So they're just kind of laying it out there that they're going to be launching this stuff. It's going to be available in the United States to begin with, and eventually they want to roll out into international markets. But it's going to take time to kind of untangle the licensing issues with that. But that's in their future plans. Most of the interest from investors, however, was still on Disney Plus. Iger spoke quite a bit about Disney Plus during the investors' call, referring to the service as the most important product the company has launched in my tenure. And I've been reading some older articles where Bob Iger was interviewed about this, and it's obvious that he's going all in on the Disney Plus over-the-top streaming service business model because he sees it as the future of the industry, and pretty much every other studio also sees it as the future of the industry. This is the beginning of the end for cable TV. This is the dawn of the age of the streaming service. And Bob Iger has kind of had this vision of Disney being the leader and having a stranglehold on that market. They want to be the biggest streaming service in Hollywood. That gives them a lot of power. That gives them a lot of money. And they have been planning this out for a very, very long time. And this quote alone should tell you how much importance Disney is placing on their streaming services. It's the most important product the company has launched in his tenure. And he's been CEO for quite some time now. The positive response to our direct-to-consumer strategy has been gratifying, and the integration of the business we acquired from 21st Century Fox only increases our confidence in our ability to leverage decades of iconic storytelling and the powerful creative engines across the entire company to deliver extraordinary value proposition to customers, Iger said in a press release. And that's the real thing that's going on here with this bundle, is called a value proposition. So as a consumer, when you see, well, you can get one thing for like $10, let's say, or you can get three things for $10, you realize that the three things is of more value for your money. So you're going to go with the three things, even if those three things aren't quite as good as the one thing you could have gotten, but you're getting more of it. So that's the value proposition. And what Iger is saying here is that because of all their content offerings and because of their wide variety of platforms that they can offer, bundling them together is attractive to consumers because of the value proposition. You can pay $12.99 a month for Netflix and just get Netflix, or you can pay $12.99 a month for the Disney bundle and get Disney Plus, which has all the Marvel, Pixar, classic Disney library, like all that good stuff. You can get Hulu, which has all the adult fare and all of Hulu's originals, and you can get ESPN, which has all the sports stuff on it, and for the exact same price. And so, of course, most consumers, if they're looking at their budget and they can only afford, one streaming service a month, they're going to go with that bundle because the value is so much greater than something like Netflix. And that's why this announcement has got to be worrying for Netflix, because they're going to be hard pressed to compete with this value proposition. The streaming services is likely to be available through Amazon, Apple, and other distributors. So there's where that they're rolling out the ability to subscribe to this stuff through Amazon and Apple as well. Disney has not finalized any deals with the aforementioned companies, but told investors, "We feel it's important for us to achieve scale quickly, and we think it's going to be an important part of that. They're all interested in distributing the product." Now, this I want to call attention to. We feel it's important for us to achieve scale quickly. This is the key right here. This is showing us what Disney's strategy is in the kickoff to these streaming wars. Now, with Netflix and Amazon, you have these streamers who've been in operation for quite some time. They kind of have an established content library. They have stuff in the pipeline that's getting ready to come out. Disney knows that when you're launching a new product, you need to offer a lot of value very quickly. And so their plan to scale stuff is going to basically be to flood these services, these three streamers, with so much content that people can't resist subscribing to it. So you're going to be seeing a lot of content being driven out into Disney Plus. You're going to see a lot of content being driven out into into Hulu, and you're going to be seeing lots of sporting events on ESPN Plus. But the big thing is like they're ramping up their offerings to try to compete with all these other streamers, because when it comes down to it, these streaming wars all come down to the original content that these platforms can offer. And the better the content, the more frequent the content, the longer that they'll retain subscribers, and the more subscribers they'll be able to attract to the platform. And because Disney, they own Pixar, they own Marvel, they own Star Wars, they own Fox, they have their Disney library, they have animation, they have all this stuff, they can ramp up all these different individual departments within the corporate umbrella of Disney and just push out content better and faster than any other competitor out there at the moment. And so the strategy to scale quickly for this is to basically try to corner the market early and lock out all their other competitors. And it's a very cutthroat strategy that you just know has Time Warner and Comcast and all these other guys sweating, because they're just so far behind the eight ball in terms of like where Disney is on this. Even Netflix and Amazon have to be kind of worrying about this. Maybe not Amazon so much, but you definitely know for a fact that Netflix is looking at this and being like, "Oh God, like this is not good." All right, Disney's goal heading into the direct-to-consumer space is ultimately to provide a ton of content in three distinct areas: general entertainment, family, and sports. And that was the trifecta we were talking about earlier, where Hulu is more the general entertainment, Disney Plus is more family, and ESPN is, of course, sports. The bundle is a way for Disney to offer consumers, many of whom are about to be inundated with multiple streaming services to choose from in the coming months, on top of free online entertainment such as YouTube and Twitch, for a low-priced option. That $12.99 bundle offers consumers tremendous volume, tremendous quality, and tremendous variety for a good price. And this paragraph right here basically just sums it up in a nutshell, where Disney is offering direct-to-consumer stuff, which basically the subscription service, a ton of content and a ton of variety in the three major entertainment categories that people want to pay for. And them bundling all this together and giving everyone what they want right up front, right from the launch of Disney Plus, is going to be huge. And the fact that they're charging a higher price for it, even though it doesn't cost them anymore to just bundle all these things together, because Hulu and ESPN already exist, they've already been launched. They're just repackaging them in a unique way. This is going to add a lot more profit to the initial launch of this than if it had just been that loss leader of Disney Plus for like $7 a month. But because this is like $13 a month, Disney's now basically going to be able to operate at least at a break-even point with their loss leader, because they're offering so much value. Like, I know me personally, I was going to subscribe to Disney Plus. I was like, yeah, $7 a month, heck, like why not? Like, add it in there. I'm already paying for Hulu. So with this bundle, I can cancel my Hulu subscription and kind of roll it into the bundle price and get Disney Plus and ESPN, all for just a few dollars more than I was originally planning on paying to begin with. And if I had gotten Hulu and Disney Plus separately, it probably would have worked out to roughly the same price. So this is a great value, and it's a very smart move by Disney, and it is the official start, in my opinion, of the true streaming wars, which is going to be the streaming wars are not about who can launch the best platform and who can make the most content. The streaming wars are about who can attract the audience and keep that audience and prevent that audience from going elsewhere. And what we're about to see is a very turbulent time where all these major studios are going to be battling it out with each other, tooth and nail, for that subscription revenue from audiences. And we've already seen a couple failures on this front, like, for instance, the DC Universe streaming service that Warner Brothers launched didn't quite hit the mark there. So we're going to start seeing some stuff fall by the wayside. I feel like Comcast, they've really dropped the ball because they're not even in the game yet. CBS, if they can get their act together and remerge with Viacom, they might be able to kind of like carve out a niche for themselves. But overall, Disney is in this to win it, and this is their kind of shot across the bow announcement for how they're going to do it. And Warner Brothers in particular has to be extremely concerned about this, because right now AT&T and Warner Brothers is the only one who has the ability to spend enough to compete directly with Disney on stuff like this. Netflix, as much debt as they're shouldering, and with their recent drop in subscribers, they're going to be hard pressed to compete with Disney. They just need to kind of try and hold on to what they've already got instead of losing it. But I wouldn't be surprised to see if Netflix starts making some big moves soon, and if Warner Brothers with HBO Max starts making some big moves soon in response to this particular announcement. And we're only a couple months away from November. Once Disney launches, they're going to be cornering the market, and they're going to be really hard to compete with. So we may be seeing some big shakeup announcements coming from the other studios and the other platforms real soon. Anyway, what do you guys think of this? Are you excited about the streaming wars? Are you already tired of it? Let me know in the comments. And please subscribe to my channel. Every subscriber really helps support the channel, and I really appreciate it. So for more movie, TV, and entertainment news and analysis, this is Matthew Kadish, and I will catch you in the next video. See you later.